All right, so the Fairview Arts Council is getting ready to do what we call a mini Comic-Con, and that is just our best version of a Comic-Con in a small space. And the hope of it is to just get people together, give them a reason maybe to dress in costume. We're gonna have some fun stuff set up, like a photo booth where you can pick your background, right, and get edited into it. So I am working this week on 5 different costumes for my family. We're all going to dress up. I hope they work out. I started them a couple weeks ago, but I have a few things left to do. So I'm going to try to make several pieces of content this week around the idea of putting together costumes for cosplay. And I want to show you different techniques that I use to pull things together quickly, because a lot of times it's amazing right now that you can see online. You can look on YouTube and find all these different ways to do costumes, and they're so cool. But it's a little overwhelming because it's expensive. And if you have the money to spend on the things, that's great. But I want to show you, like, you could actually buy cosplay foam. This is cosplay foam, and you can see it's very thick. It comes in different weights, and it's durable, and you can work with it. You can heat it up and shape it and all of that. I'm going to be using this for some things this week. But my son wants to be Khadgar from World of Warcraft. If you've ever played World of Warcraft, you know who that is. And Archmage Khadgar. And so I am going to be working on his costume. Here's the start of his costume. And I'm making some of the more kind of comic-like. World of Warcraft has a very cartoony sort of feel. I'm going to be making most of those out of craft foam like you get out of Walmart. Okay, so this is the cheap foam that you buy in the craft section of Walmart. And I want to show you that you can actually do some really cool things with this if you use your imagination and you're careful with your techniques. It cuts really, really easily into shapes. I'm just using scissors to cut all these feathers that I glue. It glues really easily. I've got 2 seams here for his shoulder piece that are holding together well. You wouldn't want to use it on joints that are going to take a lot of movement, but this is just going to sit on his shoulders like this, right? And so that's pretty simple. And then I've glued each feather on, and they're not going anywhere. Like, if you try to take these off, it will rip the it will rip the foam. So I'm going to stick these on a little bit tighter because I want the feathers to be fairly smooth down and not sticking up. And then I'm going to put a border. Let me put it back on so I can show you. It's going to have a little bit of a border that goes around here. And these have to be kind of tacked down a bit. And then I'm going to paint the whole thing. He has a collar and another little sort of cowl that I've made out of another part of it. Right here. And that's going to go like on top, like that. All right, so that's going to be the basis for our costume here. And if I can get it to sit right, my ponytail's getting in the way. All right, so the tips and tricks with this particular material, one of the things you need to watch out for, I use hot glue, high temp hot glue. You could probably get away with low temp hot glue, you just have to work fast. The only thing you have to be careful of is it will melt through this very quickly. You do not want to touch the hot glue surface to the actual foam, or you will melt a hole in it. I don't know if I can show you. I don't think I'm hot enough yet. You can actually melt holes in this pretty quickly, so you just want to be careful about that and aware of that. But other than that, it sticks really well with hot glue. It's not very thick, you can't mold it, so you have to think through. This would be good for flat pieces. You could possibly use it for belts. You could use it for hat pieces, you can use it for shoulder pieces, for armor pieces, for things like that. It just doesn't have the thickness of what you would normally use for heavier armor pieces. All right, so I'm going to work on this for a little bit. I'm going to film working on it. I will show you the picture, if I haven't already, of what Khadgar looks like. And be back in a bit. All right, so here's where we're at. I am pretty happy with this so far. And I wanted to make this video, and I'm going to make several more this week as I'm working on these costumes, just to encourage you. Even if you don't have much money or much time, you can still put something like this together. I'm real happy with the look. It definitely has that hand-drawn World of Warcraft look to it. So I think it took me about $10 to buy the foam. I bought a package of the big sheets of the craft foam. I could use the little sheets as well. It would just need more seams in some of it. And honestly, like, I could have put the feathers and things. I could have made this out of cardboard or cereal box. I might show you some cereal box techniques later this week. I've got one going for the staff right now. That's a Quaker Oats box. They won't be as durable as things that maybe you take a whole lot of time to make, but this feels pretty sturdy. And you really can do things with less. I had the paint, I had the glue gun. Other than that, that's all that it took. Just take your time, try things out. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Pay attention to the details. Stop by Wednesday the 16th. I'll be there from 1 to 4 doing like a little cosplay clinic. I'm going to have all my stuff with me. And if you have a problem that you can't resolve with your costume, feel free to bring it by and we'll look at it. I'll probably be working on some of the costumes that I'm still working on for us. And stay tuned, check back, and we'll have more of these videos on how to do these things, all right?